The insidious thing, though, is these longitudinal trends continue to erode. And so I think the first thing is to recognize this, to lay it on out, okay? Now, who's going to lay this on out? Here's a little tidbit for principals. I am very good at playing stupid. Now, I know a number of you are going to have to learn this because you're very, very intelligent people. So here's what you do. You turn to somebody on your school board, and I know we have some school board people here too, so get ready, this is coming. Choose somebody on your school board who has like a mathematical, financial acumen and say, you know, I've been wondering about this whole budget thing. It seems like we keep raising tuition. I've never really sat down and looked at what those long-term trends are in terms of how much income we're getting from a parish, how much we're getting from tuition, how much we're raising trends. You know, I just never got a chance. Would you be willing to do that? Now, I'll tell you what, if you're a school board member and your accountant, they're like, I'm all over this baby. I don't know that much about curriculum or assessment or anything, but boy, I know accounting. I can take some numbers and plug that in, and I know Excel spreadsheets. I can generate a graph. I'm all over this. And what happens is as soon as somebody gets the numbers and they do this, they go, oh my gosh, did you know this? I've got to tell people about this, oh my gosh. And you have just raised somebody up that pyramid, right? There was somebody who was maybe involved. Now they're engaged. Now they're an evangelist. Assumption number 4, most parents are abjectly ignorant of both Catholic school financing, parish financing, and believe that tuition covers the full cost to educate the kids in our schools. This is a logical consequence of not understanding the longitudinal trends. This is also a logical consequence of another corollary I'm going to share with you a little bit later, that we have kind of relegated our parents to a consumer mentality, okay, a fee-for-service type thing. So what they're paying is tuition, so they think it covers the full cost. Now, one of the beautiful things about, you know, being a parent is at soccer games, I actually get to be a parent. They don't see me as a former Catholic school administrator or professor or whatever. So when we were in the midst of this and I was going to try to kick off our Parents and Partner program, I'm sitting on the side of the soccer field and people start doing this. I know administrators, you believe that never happens, but parents do talk on the side of soccer fields and baseball fields. So a lot of this is going on about costs and tuition, and what is this whole parents and partnership type thing? And so I start talking to the guy about it, and one of the parents says, well, you know, I don't give any money to the church. Oh, really? That's interesting. So why is it that you don't give any money to the church? Well, I know where all the money goes. Oh, really? Well, where does all the money go? Well, to pay off all those pedophile priests. And I said, no, actually, that's not the case, and canonically they can't. You see, about 95% of the money that we give stays within our parish. Only about 5% even goes to the Archdiocese, and that covers central administrative costs and things like that. And actually, 25 cents of every dollar crosses the parking lot and educates your kids. No, that can't be. I said, yeah, the parish does a report every year, and they put it in the bulletin in October. Well, they could make that up. Well, we've got 3 columns for 3 years, so if we're going to lie, we're going to have to lie for 3 years and keep the lie rolling forward so that nobody catches on to this. At this point in time, the parent kind of got upset and stumbled off because I burst his little bubble. But I share that with you because this is some of the thinking going out there. My tuition covers the whole cost. I'm not giving to the church because the church is paying off all the pedophile priest type stuff. There's just an abject level of ignorance about finances, about the Catholic school, about the whole thing. And again, I think this is a consequence of that pyramid, right? We got parents who aren't engaged, they aren't active, they're not knowledgeable, and they're certainly not being evangelists on the side of the soccer field. Okay, assumption number 5. We have taught parents to be consumers of a product that we sell them rather than stakeholders in an enterprise that assists them in doing their job. Think of the quotes from the Catechism. Parents first, primary educators. They've got the awesome role and responsibility of carrying that out. But if you take a look in our parking lots, don't we see more parents like this? Than like this? Now, parents, I'm indicting myself here, so this isn't one of those sorts of things like that. But again, we've enabled that. and this is part of our history of the nuns running the school paying for it. We'll provide everything, don't worry about it. Okay, now we need to collect some money. We'll collect some money and we'll take care of it. And the administrator is playing Atlas. I'm going to hold the whole universe on my shoulders. That's wrong. That's wrong. We've helped enable this character on the right. What we need to do is empower that character on the right to be more like the ones on the left. Assumption number 6. Parents must be educated on the long-term financial trends impacting their school. See assumption 3 through 5. This ought to be done parent to parent. I talked a little bit about finding the financial person, cutting them loose. Once they discover that, they will become an evangelist. What you have to do is just fuel that fire. Boy, you're really good with Excel spreadsheets. Man, this is great stuff. Do you think you can talk to the finance committee about that? Do you think you could have like maybe a parent meeting about this and educate parents about this? Oh man, I'm all over this because I'm an accountant. I know how to use Excel spreadsheets. I didn't think I was going to be useful on this board, but I'm glad I'm getting something to do. I can do this. Okay? They're going to get all over it. They're going to start animating some people about this. And that's critical. It needs to be parent to parent. Notice I haven't said, and the principal needs to do, and the principal needs to do, and the principal needs to do. None of that. Okay? This ought to be parent to parent because really, who should be taking charge of the education of their kids? It's the parents, the first and primary educators of their kids. Okay, again, we're getting into assumptions. I hope this is the case for all our schools. Every school board has a financial person or a small cadre of parents who can get behind this education campaign. A few people who would care about these longitudinal trends, you could tell them to look at these numbers, they put it together, they internalize it, they own it, and then they become evangelists for it. Okay? They're going to get fired up because once they see these numbers, honest to God, I gave this presentation, and you see parents go through the whole Kubler-Ross stages of dying. Okay? First thing they go is, oh my God, we're going to be closing down the school tomorrow. Oh my God, I can't believe we're still even open. And then, the fear and denial and anger, and then finally acceptance. You know what? Hey, we have a school, we've got a balanced budget, we've got a problem, but we've recognized it, and I think we might be able to do something about it. Okay? So be ready for that. Education and engagement invites parents to move from being consumers who are merely informed to being stakeholders, interested and involved, to finally advocates who are invested and evangelizers of this. Now what you'll see happen is this is going to take on a groundswell. It's an education campaign, it's a parent-to-parent communication, it's an empowerment campaign amongst parents. And it's going to take some time, but you're going to see this movement. I'm going to share with you some of the experiences, the case study that I had at Holy Redeemer, and I think it'll get a few chuckles and laughs here because it wasn't pretty at all times. But you will see this inverted pyramid take off. A significant corollary that I want to draw from all these assumptions, just to hammer home the point. If parents don't own the problem, then they have no obligation to solve it. If we're silent and if we're playing Atlas there trying to carry this thing on our back, shame on us. If they don't own it, then we do, and we darn well better fix it, which we can't. We can't carry this all by ourselves. So again, the fundamental question, are we called to be messiahs or prophets? I would argue that we're called to be prophets. Take a look back at the definition of a prophet. That's what we're called to be. Both administrators and school board members, you're called to be prophets. Prophets to all the other parents. Okay, let me talk a little bit about this case study. So 2005-2006 school year, the school board president, that would be me, observes the long-term trends and educates the pastor, school board, finance committee, and puts together a committee to address the question of how best to fund quality education for all within our parish. And I think those are two critical pieces that when I talk to my pastor have to be major assumptions. Quality Catholic education and for all. We can't just have quality Catholic education and we can't just have a mediocre, satisfactory education for all. It's quality Catholic education for all. Now, I thought I was doing a good job of PR here. In September, an announcement regarding an information nights that will address the significant financial challenges facing our school is made at the back-to-school night. You know, the night where all the parents come back in, Mother's Club does this. So I, as the school board president, get up there, tell them we've got these significant changes, we're going to have presentations, you all need to come out to it. Announcement is made regarding the information nights that will address significant financial challenges facing our school. Is sent home with parents a few days prior to the information nights. The night before, big bold thing, goes in the Thursday envelope. Information nights, please come. Oh boy, we're going to have a rocket turnout, aren't we? Three people attended, including the principal. She felt sorry for me. It was bad. The second night we had 10 people. Now, unfortunately, they were people who wanted to be in the know, and they were kind of the gossipy type, so we were off to a good start then. Because those who did show up, they went through the whole Kubler-Ross stages. One of the parents was actually an alumnus from the school, and you talk about a dying experience, because here's, the school she went to and her family went to, and she just thought for sure the school's going to be around here forever, right? Because they've always been here, it always will be. And when you start sharing this numbers, oh my God, we're going to close. We're not going to have a school. Oh my God. Oh my God. And there's this panic, and well, how long can we stay open? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Fear, anger, nasty questions. Why didn't we know about it? What's being done about this? Blah, 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 blah. It's okay. They go through the whole process, and then finally, acceptance, empowerment. So you're saying we're not closing down next year. You're saying we're not in dire straits. You're saying we can do something about this. Oh my gosh, we got to tell people about it. So those 10 people got out there, and we had a stir going on. The problem was, when I got my committee back together, they said, you know what, we got to do something about this lack of information. So they decided on a couple other things. We need to put out a letter to the parents that a statement of informational meetings had taken place, a statement that the PowerPoint and accompanying narrative would be put on the parish website so anybody could access it, a brief description of the current funding models available, a brief description of all the different funding options that we could possibly move to, cost-based tuition, getting rid of the multi-parish assessment, increasing giving. A number of different options were laid out there. A brief description of the survey, a statement of goals and objectives, quality Catholic education for all, the survey, and a 2-week window was given for the survey. Incidentally, I've got all the materials from the Parents in Partnership. I gave them to Bert, and he's going to put it on the Archdiocese website. So if you want to take a look at all the PowerPoints that I used, all the informational letters, which as you see probably didn't work that well, but at least you can see what we do, and all the thank you letters. So all the materials that I used, and also some of the more recent ones that Holy Redeemer used, is going to be made available. So that way you don't have to recreate the wheel. I also have with that stuff is kind of a timeline of what we did. So my goal is to try to empower you or help you to not have to recreate the wheel, but take this and run with this and put your own spin on it. In October of 2006, the committee decided that there needed to be additional assistance in terms of grade captains to get optimal returns for the campaign should the survey go that way, and we were pretty confident it probably would. Results of the survey are communicated to parents in a letter, and the letter concludes, as a result of the survey, we will be initiating an annual Parents in Partnership pledge campaign. Pledge cards are made up and placed in envelopes, and a decision was made that pledge cards will be distributed at an informational meeting, since most parents never attended the first two, and that every member of the committee and all class captains must publicly deposit their pledge cards at the end of the meeting. So we are guaranteed that at least 20 people will be at this meeting, and we'd get 20 pledge cards that evening. So we had that going for us. I also had a meeting for the class captains, because they were going to be calling the other parents and explaining this whole Parents in Partnership thing and the upcoming pledge campaign. So I also made up some frequently asked questions. Those are also part of the whole handout. So in case we got some typical questions like, why are we doing this now? How does it benefit me? How does it benefit the school? Is this tax deductible? All those sorts of things like that. Captains are referred to the website and given a list of frequently asked questions. Class captains call the parents to make sure they'll attend the meeting, and a letter from the pastor is sent out to all parents informing them of a meeting to further explain the Parents in Partnership pledge. And the pastor also pledged that he would maintain that 25% giving of the parish money over to the school. This was a critical question, because some of the parents were saying, well, what happens if we increase this giving? Is the parish then going to cut back? And so then we have the zero-sum game. So I got a commitment from the pastor that he would maintain it. 25 cents of every dollar will continue to go across the parking lot and fund the school.